This webinar is how the automation and the scheduler can save you admin time, part 2. My name is Maya and I'm part of the CS team, the Senior Onboarding and Client Success Associate. And you will see my email right there, just in case you have any other questions after the webinar. We will have a live Q&A at the end of the webinar, but as we are going through the presentation, you can ask any questions on the live chat feature. It should be the Q&A part right here. Cool. So the agenda for this webinar, we will focus on all of these points. So what is the scheduler? First and foremost, we'll discuss all of the things that the scheduler can do and at what level does the scheduler apply. So it is important to add to the scheduler in a particular place within Arthur, just so you know exactly where it will apply. So if it is at the property level, it will relate to the whole building and all of its tenants within, and so on, in accordance to the Arthur hierarchy. And how it can save you time. We will discuss how automation can definitely save you hours of admin time. It is dependent on what you need the automation, the scheduler to do for your workload, for your day-to-day and your actual journey, the tenancy journey that you manage. And we'll discuss some examples of useful schedulers that you can implement. And we'll go over the very popular ones like remind the tenants to take the bins out or create a task for inspections or something like that. And then we'll have a live Q&A. So we'll discuss what the scheduler is. So the scheduler is an area in Arthur where you can schedule events specific to that property, unit, or tenancy, and how it's different from the automation. So the webinar that we had last month, the automation kind of relates to portfolio with specific conditions, whereas the scheduler can be related to a specific property, unit, or tenancy. And I believe that it is a bit more user-friendly, it's a bit more intuitive, and you will kind of understand what's going on. Instead of building the conditions yourself, you'll just be adding the dates of when the event will run and what the event will be. So it can be a message, you can create a work order, you can create a task, you can send SMS messages as well. And the automated event is then created based on the scheduled dates. So for this, I will just go over some examples on a test account, just so you can see exactly what I mean. So we'll see right here. I'm on just a test account right here. And first of all, we'll go over exactly where we can add in the scheduler. So the master pane would be under the calendar and under scheduler, since it's all to do with dates. And we do have some examples that we can go through as well. So you can always add the scheduler at this point. And this is where you will add in the property, unit, or tenancy that it refers to. And then you can just search the specific unit. All of these examples right here, you can search the specific property. So all the specific properties right here. So it is important to think about where you want to add in the scheduler. So at the property level, it is to do with the whole building and all of the tenants within it. So if it's a HMO, then you would put it at the property level, since it relates to the whole tenants, to all of the tenants. If it's to a specific unit within that property, then you will add it in at the unit level. Or if it's a single unit property, then you can add it at either or, but I would suggest to always add it in at unit level. And if it's to a specific property, it is very similar to adding it in at unit level, but there may be cases where you have multiple tenancies within that unit. So one is maybe expiring and then another one is prospective or approved. You don't want it to send to both people at the same time, or maybe you do, then you would put it at the unit level. So at the tenancy level, it is related to that very specific tenancy. So I will just create a unit level scheduler. you will add in the scheduler name. So for this example, I will just, I would want to remind the tenants bi-weekly that to take the recycling out. So I will just do, for this unit, take bins out. So the scheduler name, this won't go out to the recipients. This is just how it will look on your end. So you can put in anything that you want. Take bins out, remind tenants. So you can create it in advance. So you can start from the 1st of October, or you can start it from today, and it should be fine to run. And then you will just choose when it repeats. So it can be daily or weekly. So it can be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which will represent daily. And then you can do weekly as well. So you will just untick all of these and just choose the specific day of that week. And for this one, I will just do 2 weekly, but we do have other options of 4 weekly, 6, 8, 12, 16. We have monthly, we have quarterly, 6 monthly, yearly, and once only. So you can do once only as well. And then just add in the actual creation date of when it should run. So it will just do it on the 1st of October, once only. And if I do 2 weekly, you can choose when it repeats on. So it has auto created it for, since it starts on the 1st, and that's a Sunday, it has auto ticked Sunday, but you can do Monday. So it will run on that other time right here. So I will just do starting from today, and then it will repeat on a Wednesday. And then if you do want it to repeat on each Monday or so, then you will add in the date, the 2nd, and it will repeat on the Monday from the 2nd. So I will just continue on with the 2nd, repeats 2 weekly, repeats every Monday. So every 2 weeks on a Monday, it will send out a message. And then you can also add in whether there should be an end date or not. So you can add in an end date. So maybe it can end in a year's time. And then we can go on continue. And you will see that this page is very similar to how you create automations. And all of the actions and the event methods will be similar. So you can send a message, send a notification, text messages, ignore the webhook part. You can add a task or a work order. So for this one, I will just send a message. So I want to remind the tenants every 2 weeks to take the bins out. So the action name will be notify tenants. And then you can search the recipients. And for this example, I will just choose active tenants in unit. And you can also have more than one recipient. So we can just do all property managers as well, if needed. And then in the subject line, this is what will go out to the tenant. So you can have a reminder to take bins out today with an exclamation point. And then you can also right click on your mouse and get all of the variables. So anything that will be changing. So the first name. So if we put in first name, then it will be the first name of the tenant within that unit. So it will send out the if there are 5 tenants, it will send out 5 emails, and each will have their own name as well. And you can also have like unit address or something like that. You can have any other condition that you may want as well. And then you can do hi to first name. And you can put in property manager as well. So we'll come up with whoever the property manager is for this unit. And then you can save this action. And the scheduler will be shown right here. So you'll be able to see the chosen actions will be notify tenants, and it is a send message. And we can also manage this as well. So we can click this and edit it as well. So we can just choose the edit button right here. And then we can edit the email body, subject, and the recipients if needed. You can also delete the record if you want to as well. And under the I button right here, you'll be able to see the activity log. So who created what and when, and the action will be to notify tenants, etc. You can edit the schedule, so you can choose like when it repeats, when it was created, and you can choose if it's active or inactive as well. And you can choose exactly when the end date is needed. And then you can also add in another action. So by clicking on the downward arrow right here, you can add in another action. So the send message to all tenants will run in conjunction with whatever action that we want to create right here. So notify property managers or something like that. Or you can create a task or a work order. So we can add task, notify property managers, and add in the task type of like inspection for the bins or something. You can add in your own subtask templates if needed. And then you can write in the description of the task. And you can assign it to any particular property manager. You can also assign to as many property managers as needed. And then with the date due, so this is only relevant for work orders and tasks. So if a scheduler was created on the 1st, and you want like a period where they will do the task and it will be due 15 days after the first entry was created. So it was created on the 1st, you want it due on the 15th, then this is where you can add in the condition of 15 days. So what will happen is the task will be created on the 1st, and then the due date of that task will be the 15th. So we can save that action again. Of course, when you are creating it, you may not want to add a task if you're going to send messages anyway, but this is just an example, and it's just to show you that you can have more than one chosen actions for this one scheduled event. And you can also edit the schedule here as well. You can manage scheduler actions. So if we edit the schedule, you'll be shown exactly this page right here. Manage scheduled actions. So you'll be able to see and edit the actual events that are happening with this scheduler. And you can change the relationship as well. So currently it is at unit 1. We can make it to the property, Regal property right here. So we can update it. So now it's at property level. So just because you made a mistake, it is much easier to edit it than deleting it and creating it all over again. And then you can also make it inactive. And you can also check the activity log. So everything that has been noted on this, you will be able to see right here. And then also you'll be able to see what the messages are sending out. So when the messages have been sending out, you'll be able to see all of the history. And this goes for every single thing that is sending out through the bot, through our do not reply message feature. So anything with automations, anything with schedulers, you'll be able to see if you click on the company logo right here, and then email and SMS history, you'll be able to see all of the messages. So this is just an example, since the scheduler has probably not run by now. Yeah. And then, so I will just show you how to create another one on the property level. So it is exactly the same as creating it under the scheduler. So this is the kind of master pane. But if you do go on this property level right here, and then I will just choose any random property. You can go on the scheduler right here. And then if you are on the property level and then you don't see all of these tabs right here, you can go on edit property and tick I manage this property in order to show all of these tabs, management tabs right here. So we can go in the scheduler right here and then add scheduler. And then you will notice that the search bar is missing because you are already at that property. And then this is where you can do the scheduler name. So I will just do quarterly inspection. So what I want this scheduler to do is to create a task every quarter that will assign to a particular property manager to go to the property to inspect it. So we can create this on starting from today, but I will just do quarterly. And then we can add in on a specific date. So it can be the 1st, it can be the 31st or anything like that. So we'll just do 1st for now. And then we can add in the end date as well. So when you are adding a task, we will go over exactly what is needed for adding a task. So remember this date due. So this is where you have to think about the if you want it due in advance of when you create the actual task. So if you want it due on the same day that the scheduled event is created, so this task is created, then you will just have this the same right here. So just same day right here. But if you do want it in advance, then this is where you would add in all of these plus 30 days or so. So then it will be due in 30 days of when the task was created. So from what the schedule conditions were, it was quarterly on the 1st. So in 4 months' time, the task will be created on the 1st, and then the due date of that task will be the 30th. So if you do want it due on a particular date, you will have to adjust the schedule. So with the action name right here, and add in whatever you need. It won't send out to the tenants. It will just be for your own informational purposes. So we will just do inspection right here. The task is add, the event method is add task. And then you can have the task type inspection right here. And then you can also add in your subtask templates. So we can just do inspection right here. And then the task description. And then you can assign it to a particular property manager. So we'll be able to save this action right here. And then you'll be able to manage all of the schedulers from the tab right here, or you can also go on the master pane as well. So you'll be able to see this is the exact same things. You can also add in another action, edit the schedule, manage scheduler actions, etc. Cool. And then you will be able to do the exact same thing on the unit level. So you'll be able to see that it's the exact same interface. So you'll see schedulers right here. You'll be able to add schedule. And then it's the exact same interface right here. Cool. So we've discussed what the scheduler is. So if you have any questions on that, we'll go over some examples later on as well. We'll keep jumping back and forth from the presentation to a live example. So we've just gone over at what level we should create the scheduler based on the hierarchy. So there are multiple modes to creating a scheduler. So you can add it at the under calendar scheduler, or you can go directly to that property unit or a tenancy. And also, I actually forgot to mention, you can go on tasks and then create a scheduler as well. And it's the exact same interface. So you may have noticed with Arthur, you can do the exact same things on multiple different pages. And this is just for ease, essentially. So yeah, you can create a scheduler here, and then you can also create a scheduler on the work order interface as well. So depending on where you are within the system, you can create scheduler at most pages, essentially. And it's the exact same thing. So at the property level, so if it relates to the whole building and its whole and all of its inhabitants, then you will add it at the property level. So this is especially prudent if you're sending a message to the tenants. It means that it will send a message to every single tenant within that property. So at the unit level, if it relates to that specific unit only, and at the tenancy level, if it relates to that specific tenancy only. So i.e. if there's more than one tenancy within a unit. Cool. So we'll discuss how it can save you time. In my opinion, it's easy to build and manage. So if you did join the webinar for the automations, then you will see that it's a little bit complicated. I always suggest before you attempt to create an automation that you jump on a live chat or you book a tutorial with one of us, just in case there are any issues with the automation. We can go over, we can even build it for you, and also discuss how we can build it yourself as well. So with the scheduler, I am not afraid to just kind of explain all of this and then just let you do your own thing, because there's not that much of a error margin, to be fair. So I will just go over the schedulers again, and this is how you will be able to see all of these schedulers right here. And the difference would be with automations, if you go on the top right as well, top left, I mean, sorry, and then go on automation, you can create similar scheduled events via automations, but there are limitations. So if it is, the rule of thumb that I always present to new property managers or so is that if it relates to a particular property, then I would always add in a scheduled event. If it's to do with the whole portfolio, but it's based on specific conditions like a tenancy expiring or something, then I will always add it in at the automations right here. So I will just show you an example of how you can make something similar to a scheduler on automations, and then you'll be able to see the differences, even though it kind of connects to the same event method. So we'll go on add custom trigger. And then we can go on the property level right here. So first of all, you won't be able to see a timed thing because we don't know when you will actually create a new property. So it will always be created, updated or created or manually triggered. So for this one, I will just do created. For this example, I will just maybe do an example of some inspection or something. And then you will be able to see that the conditions are quite limited on the property level. So I will just do area is East London, and the property owner is this one. So any property that is created under East London with the area East London and the property owner 2nd PM account, that's when the automation will run. And then if we save the trigger, then you'll be able to see it's kind of the same interface as the scheduler. You'll be able to apply a process, and then the event method will be all the same ones. So this is one of the bigger differences within the automations and the scheduler. I'll do another example. If we create a custom trigger again, we'll go on property. I will just do updated or something. Inspection again. And then it's the exact same kind of interface as well. So there are events that you will always use the automation for. So like maybe tenancies are expiring, so you want to give them like a goodbye message or something, or a checkout form. This is where you will add it in at the automation, because it relates to all tenancies, and the condition would be that it's expiring in 30 days or 60 days or so. But if you want it to a specific property or a unit, then this is where you can add in the scheduler. The disadvantage with the scheduler is you will have to do it at each property. So with the automation, you will just do one automation. It will relate to all property. But if you know that you have an inspection for all properties, then I will probably do it at the automations. But if it's only for like 3 or 4 properties out of your whole portfolio, then you will have to do a scheduled event for each property that it relates to. Okay, cool. So how it can save you time, it's easy to build and manage, and it saves you time from manually setting up these actions and messaging individually. So I know there may have been a point where you would have to message the tenant individually, and they would also have your email address, so they would also just give you a flurry of replies back. With the scheduler, it is sent through our automation, so it is sent through a do not reply mailbox. So if you do want them to have the opportunity to reply, you can put it in the body of the message. If you have any queries, please email and then add in your email address or your phone number or something like that. So that is an option for you. So it does save you from having a flurry of replies as well, and saves you from messaging individually. And especially if there are tasks that are always quarterly, like inspections, always like weekly, like taking the bins out or something, then it just saves you a bunch of time to not do that on a routine basis. Cool. So we have the examples of schedulers, we have inspections, reminders. We'll go over work orders right here as well. So I will just go on a random property because I know that it relates to a property. We'll go on a scheduler again, and then we can add the scheduler. So we can do an annual gas safety or something like that. And then we can create it on 1st or something. And then we'll do yearly as the repeating date. And then we can do the 1st of Jan, and then it will run 1st of Jan each year, and so on. And then we can have a no end date for this one as well. We'll go on continue. And then the action name would be create work order for gas safety. And then we can add the work order as well. So the work order title will be the work order service. So I'll just do a gas engineer for now. Add in whatever you need for the description. And then the start date. So the start date would be, it can be the same day as the as when you created the action. So if we went back a page, it is starting on the 1st of January each month. So the start date can be the 1st of January each month. Each year, sorry. And then we can do it start day on the same day, and then due date will be, it'll give them 30 days to finish the job. or however many days you want to add in. And this is the exact same kind of interface as when you were actually creating a work order right here. So you'll have the budget, allocated times, price per hour. This is all informational, so you can add it in at a later date, and you can always assign it to a particular contractor. So if you know something is repeating, you're always using this one contractor for this one specific work order, then it is quite good to add it in as a scheduler. Then you will add in quotas required if their quote has gone up each year or something. And then we'll have the contractors share documents and images with contractors. We can untick this if needed. You can hide tenant details from contractors. So if this particular work order was for like gardening works or something, they have no business needing the tenant details, then you can tick this and hide the tenant details from contractor. And you can share the property and unit access details with assigned contractor. So anything that has been added in access management, so digital keys for the front door or something like that, codes, I mean, you can share that with the assigned contractor as well. I'll untick all of these as well. And then you can share documents and images with owner so they can manage the work order as well. I will just save this action. And then you'll be able to see that on the 1st of January, this work order will be created. And then you'll be able to manage the work orders as well. You can add in more than one action. Right here, you will be able to see that the status is active. So I will make this one inactive. So it won't be shown right here. But then you'll be able to see in scheduler, you can show the inactive ones. And then you can also make active again. Cool. And then you can also filter all of the scheduled events that you've created. So you can relate it to property. So all of the ones that are at the property level, you'll be able to see once it loads. And then so if you know that you've created a lot on unit level and you know that you want to move it to property level, you can show all of the ones related to the unit and then change the relationship if needed. And then you can also have the type. So if it's a message that's going out, if it's a work order that's being created or a task that's being created, you'll be able to see and filter that within it as well. And then you can also search for a particular property, albeit you can search right here as well for the property. You search for the particular unit, particular tenancy as well. And you can also filter by start date. Yeah. Cool. So I've gone over a bunch of different automated scheduled tasks and messages and work orders that you can create. If you want me to go over any specific ones, just put it in the Q&A. But if you've learned something from this, just we'll have a feedback message at the end of this, but we can also go over anything if you want to go over on the Q&A part right here. I just want to go over the support that we have. So you can go on the widget on the bottom right. You'll be able to access our knowledge base articles. So if you just type in scheduler, you'll see all of the articles related to the scheduler. We also have the live chat again. So if you have any questions with the live chat of when it will be creating, when it will be due, stuff like that, I know that can be a little bit tricky. Just let us know on the live chat. We'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And also with any kind of automations that you are creating on the portfolio scale, I always recommend to come on the live chat to ask us prior or just to double check some things and just to make sure there isn't any horrible GDPR breaches or something. And then lastly, you can also book a tutorial or a training session. So that is also available. If you're on professional package, you're entitled to 1 free tutorial per calendar month. If you're on the enterprise, you're entitled to 3 tutorials per calendar month. If it's to do with the scheduler or any automations, always choose one of the functionality team members and see our availability. Cool. So I'll go over the Q&A. I'll just give you just a few minutes just to go over and write in your questions if needed. So Kevin writes, why is the subject field so very small that you can't see what's being typed in the scheduler action? So this has been raised prior, and trust me, I do find it annoying as well, but it is one of the bugs that we have. So I have added this into our devs kind of improvement field. So we will be getting a new widened or heightened subject box. So if you do have any issues seeing it, let me just show you what you can do. I know it's probably not the most ideal. So if I go on manage scheduled actions, so the subject field is a little bit small, so you can't be able to see it. But if it has like gone over and you can't see what you've actually written, I suggest you just select it and then copy and paste it on here so you can see exactly what you wrote. I appreciate it's not ideal, but that is just the kind of workaround right now. So yeah, we do have the link to the recording. I think it is in the need help right here. Webinars. If you go to past webinars right here. So you can see all of the webinars that we have created. So you can have your pick of what you want to go over. Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, so Rachel has asked, is there a way to add a scheduler and task/work order for one property owner who has a portfolio, i.e. for boiler services? Some property owners have us organize them and some have their own contractors. So let's just go over. So I assume that it is just for one particular property owner that has a specific contractor that they have. So just for example, I will just do this one. So Alex PM account. So we'll go on Alex PM account. We can see that the properties that they own. So you'll have a list right here. I'll just go on this one right now. And it will be the same, but if there are kind of different contractors for different for a different work order. So if there's one work order and they have like one contractor this month and then another contractor the next month, then the scheduler won't particularly work. The scheduler is based on something that is kind of static. So that's everything that's booked in advance. It's always this one contractor, but you can change it later on. But again, you may not be reminded to change some things. So that is, again, you'll have to think about that as well. So you can just go on the scheduler, add in the scheduler as normal as we've discussed, and then just see, is that what you mean, Rachel? Yeah, I think so. So for schedulers that are changing, then you can edit it in the future, but if it's something that is changing all the time, then I may not suggest to add in the scheduler. I may suggest to just add in the work orders or tasks like individually or manually, I mean. Yeah, so it's not for the bulk of that one PO. It has to be done individually per property slash unit. So if you will be able to see the list of properties that they own. So you'll have to go into each individual property and then add in the scheduled event each time. But let me just check if that can be done via automations. Okay, so for a particular property owner, so if they have more than one property that they're always that needs a scheduled event, you can choose the condition. So add custom trigger, the group would be property, then the condition would be the property owner, and put in the property owner right here. I'll just do a test right here. So, but the thing is, with the property owner, you won't be able to add in like the scheduled event. So that is, again, another limitation, but let me just test it out and see, because I think that there is something that can be done. I'll email you afterwards, Rachel. Yeah. Thanks, Rachel. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, if you have any other questions that you may just think of later on when you're actually building the scheduler for yourself, you can just email me at maya.gansuch@arthur.online.co.uk, or just come on the live chat. I will probably be on the live chat as well. So if there isn't any more questions, I hope that you found this webinar useful, and I hope that you have a great day, guys. Bye.